Well, good morning. Just curious how everybody slept and any new thoughts or ideas or questions or anything? I slept good. Good stuff, good stuff. So what I'd like to do today, somewhat of our focus is going to be on customers and elements of time and FlexGrid, and we'll probably be bouncing in and out of invoicing just a little bit just because they kind of play in that mix of customers and statements and invoices and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll be bouncing in and out of those different pieces of the puzzle today. But are there any questions before we get going or get started? We have Cheryl and Shannon and David and Sherry O and Mick and Paul, and we have a couple other ones that are coming, and Wayne is here, and we have a couple people online, and so we're going to just keep going and see what happens. To start off with, I'm going to start at the graphic today and kind of our goals, just so you can kind of see it in a digital or visual format. One, we're going to be dealing with customers. This is going to be primarily our focus. And what happens with customers is you can connect them to all sorts of things. Customers can be connected to invoices, quotes, which basically allow you to get these different pieces of the puzzle. They go on invoices and quotes, so I'm going to kind of go like that. They kind of meet up with those pieces of the puzzle. Elements of time. This is like calendaring and scheduling and creating different little pieces of the puzzle. This is very, very flexible. Today we're going to kind of be dealing with flexibility and some of the different pieces of the puzzle. The other piece is FlexGrid tie-ins, okay? And so we're going to be kind of dealing with this entire half of the map on this type of a puzzle. You'll notice that customers is kind of right there central to what's going on. FlexGrid technically can be connected to any other of the main pieces of the puzzle, but we've found that most people tend to use some of the FlexGrid tie-ins for their customers. That's where they seem to really almost kind of resides and goes with that in a way. So that is just a quick overview of where we're headed today. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is if you're not logged in, you can either log in through Adilas demo and 1234, and we're going to Greenway Grow, or I'm going to just go ahead and log in as myself. And we'll just pop in here. So currently, the name of the company that we're in is a play company, and it's called Greenway Hydroponics and Grow Shop. So we're kind of setting up somewhat of a nursery type interface for this particular company. Yesterday what we did, just as a review, if I go to my history homepage and I hit go, it'll show me that I don't really have a whole lot going on today as of yet. Looks like somebody was already in here playing with some PO stuff. And actually, if we jumped in there, I bet you we could actually see who it was. Barney Rebel, okay, no problem. So it looks like Sherry O was already playing with us this morning. If I switch this right here from today's date to yesterday's date, you'll see a whole lot more as far as what we actually did yesterday. We actually did a number of invoices. We collected some tax, made a bunch of payments on them. We had a whole bunch of invoices and POs. We scanned some images. We created some time cards, and we have one customer, and I'll bet you this is the Shannon that we tied to one of our invoices. So I'll just click on it just for fun. Okay, so we have Shannon Moore, and she was entered right here. So basically, if we clicked on Shannon on her log, the log is the important piece for the customer. It kind of gets you into the detail of that particular thing. The reason that it's called the log page right here is one of the key features of the customer is you can actually start adding what's called a log entry. So a log entry is basically a notes section for customers. And so basically, as you click on it here, and you can add a new note. So just for fun, I'm going to put this one under Other. I'm going to go ahead and leave the date and time exactly as it is, and I'm just going to put, good morning, Shannon.
Good morning to you.
Okay, normally somebody's not right here, and so you're not really going to be logging in while they're right here. But basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you that as you add log notes, they start showing up underneath of her. Let's say that we wanted to add another log note. You can click in, and you can say, hey, let's go like this. Say that in person, and she will be doing training today. Shannon, what would you like to be doing training on?
FlexGrid, of course. Isn't that the item for the day?
Exactly, yep. So she'll be doing training on FlexGrid. basically, you can add as many as you want, and they'll just keep showing up in your log notes. What it does is it basically builds a one-to-many relationship, okay? So another cool thing about the customer page is that you can actually click on here and add any sort of contacts. Shannon, what's your favorite stuffed animal?
Panda bear. I don't
Okay.
own any stuffed animals.
Just for fun. But like basically what it is it allows you to do multiple contacts. In real life, usually what this is used for is what's the shipping address, what's the accounts receivable department, what's the payables department, if you needed multiple pieces for your customer, okay? Another thing that could happen is say you needed to create a relationship between somebody. You're like, hey, this is my client, but their cosigner or their mother or father or parent is this, or like there's lots of different ways you can do it, but basically the only required field is what is the contact type. And often this will be owner, manager, you know, send invoices here, you know, whatever it might be, and then you enter the rest of the information and you add the contact.
Okay, so where
Yes,
did
go
you
ahead.
get that? Oh, I see. Additional contacts. So it's right on the customer page, and it was just add additional contacts.
Okay, correct. And yesterday we spent quite a bit of time right here, kind of in this little object lesson as far as dealing with the little plates. Well, guess what we're doing right here in a customer, okay? Because it's one of our main objects, we literally go like this, okay? So if I set up Shannon here, say I have her as my plate right here, I have Shannon's main ID. I'm going to kind of just zoom out just for a second so you can see this for just a minute, okay? So that might be a little small, but watch this right here. Here is Shannon's main information, okay? This is her main information right there, okay? So this basically creates Shannon right here, okay? Shannon also has another one-to-many relationship right here with her additional contacts, as many as we want. So I'm going to go like this. This is a potential many, okay? That's an infinity sign. Pretend that it's an infinity sign, okay? So basically what we have is there's a bucket that's actually called additional contacts and subs. So she has some special contacts. We also have tons and tons of notes. These are user-maintained notes that are called log notes, okay? So that's another many on a customer. So we can basically keep sticking whatever we need to stick in this little bucket because that's where we're kind of categorizing some of the stuff for Shannon. I'm going to go ahead and change out of my marker here and also just show you just for fun, just a small piece of flex grid just so you can kind of see how it adds to the puzzle. So once again, I'm still on Shannon's record, and we'll talk more and more about the flex grid, but basically here's how easy it could be. Add a new flex grid tie-in, and say that I actually wanted to connect her with something just for fun. I'm not even sure what to do here. Let's go like this. Why don't we go just to show flex grid. And we'll actually get into this a little deeper, but what I wanted to show you was, watch this. Here was the main, here was her contacts, here was her user maintained, and all of a sudden, as I add something to the flex grid, it starts adding this as well. So the flex grid is very powerful as far as different things that she likes. Say we found that Shannon really liked a certain item, like it was her favorite item, okay? One, I can actually come up here and say, which invoice items has she bought? I can click here and it can tell me. Currently it doesn't show anything, okay? She hasn't bought anything from this. If I hit back, maybe I find that she actually really does want to buy something. Let's go ahead and do this. New cart for a customer. Here's Shannon right here. Pulled her information into the cart, and we're going to go ahead and say that she wants one of those pumpkin starter kits. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just scroll down until I find the pumpkin starter kits, and she's going to want one of those little pumpkin starter kits. Go ahead and say add. Pulls it into the cart, adds its tax, and I'm going to go ahead and hit checkout. At this point, I'm just going to say that she paid $25 in cash. And as soon as I move out of this field, you'll see that this right here, this amount remaining will change. I owe her $3.57. Continue, and we'll say create the invoice. Okay, this is the final review, if you will. Here's our thing. I'll go ahead and hit print, and I'll pretend like she's right here, and we'll hand it right to her. I'll scroll over to my printer if you wanted a receipt printed. It's not required. There's Shannon's little invoice. One of the neat things about this, and maybe what I will do just for fun so everybody can see this little invoice, is it actually has a little section down here for change due. paid $25, change due is $3.57. It tells you right there at the bottom, so that you kind of in bold, it says, hey, here's how much you still owe this person. So what I was going to do is I was going to scan it and attach it to that invoice just so you can kind of see some of the capabilities of some of the different things. So I'm going to go like this. View, which takes me into the same invoice number that's still tied to Shannon. I'm going to go ahead and plop my little invoice. This is not required. I'm just basically showing you some simple little pieces of the puzzle here. I'm going to show my desktop for just a second. I'm going to open up my scanner wizard. This is how I can talk to my flatbed scanner. One of the important pieces when you actually do a scan is I like to go to 100 DPI, okay? This is dots per inch. Lots of times this will be set to 200 or 600. That makes a poster size thing, okay? You just want it fairly small. This is just for web viewing and just for documentation. So 100 is what I kind of set my little custom settings to, and I'll hit next. And as it's scanning right here, in the meantime, I'll jump back into my invoice and I'll say, cool, let's go add a photo to this particular piece of the puzzle. So once I listen for my scanner, and it was just barely warming up, so it might take just a little bit longer, but once I hear it zip backwards, I'll be able to actually add that right to, so that's my signal. I'll hit browse, come in here to where my scans are located, and I'll grab this one that it is, and I'll say add photo. So basically right here, it just added the whole photo for me, and so if I were to hit view gallery, it doesn't look that super crisp or clear, but basically there's my documentation of what's going on, okay? So anyway, that's the simple, it looks way better on the actual receipt.